Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the 1804 show, chapter 2. I'm your host, Dollar Will, and this is episode 613. Here I got a special guest tonight by the name of Mr. Paul S. Trevino.
Trevino, yep.
Yep, senior, right?
Yeah, I'm senior. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't want to call you no junior. Like, hey, I ain't
No,
no
that's cool.
junior.
There's a story behind that too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we gonna chop it up though. But yeah, man, how about you tell people who you are, your occupation?
Okay. My name is Paul Trevino. I was known as DJ Paul. Some of you may have seen me DJ at a bar called Legends in Saginaw. My occupation is obviously DJing was a hobby over the weekend, and then I actually work as an alarm technician during the week. So I install like alarm systems for like burglar systems, fire systems, camera systems in your house. So I kind of wanted to, do this interview with you, man. I heard good things, so I wanted to check it out.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, man, and I just really had love and respect for you, like the moment when we first met, man, with my cousin Maury.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
Saturday.
Yeah, that was great. It was a funny story how I actually met you for the first time. So I was in the bar setting up. It was Saturday night, I believe. And the bartender's like, "Hey, man, there's this dude talking, mad shit about you. They want you to come outside." And Legends is a rough bar, so I'm thinking, somebody's talking shit. I gotta see what it's all about, So I go out there and I kick the door open and I see you first.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who the fuck is this? I'm like, I don't know this dude. He's talking shit, I'm like, I'm gonna have to fight him, So then I look to my left and that's when I see Maury.
Man.
And he immediately started laughing. I started laughing, and just the whole anxiety just went away after that. Man. It was crazy.
It was funny because like he pretty much drove me there because he was just always talking about, man, we never hang out, man. And I was like, man, I can't be doing all that crazy stuff. I'm a public figure now, I'm just trying to stay out the way, stay out the trouble, Especially in this damn civil war right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man, for sure.
But he brought me out that night, and then he was like, hey, man, be quiet, but I'm finna put a prank on somebody. I was like, prank, man? Don't be trying to get me shot, man. You know what I'm saying? This is a wrong impression right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then he had, set that up, and I was like, man, I don't know who this guy is,
right.
Well, he careful let me get in my little stance just in case, And
I thought the same thing because, when I saw you, you were kind of in a defensive position, but kind of like a neutral one at the same time. I'm like, man,
yeah, because I was looking at him and he was laughing and stuff like that, like that one dog who be laughing at. I'm like, man, if you get me killed, man,
I'm telling you, man. So I figured if I kicked the door, it would hit who's ever at the door,
right?
And then the door just hit the building, and then I just saw you, and I'm like, shit. I'm like, at first I was thinking to myself, man, I have to hit him first,
Yeah.
Because it was funny because Maury's like, you didn't even know who it was.
Right.
He said we could have been 50 deep, or we could have had guns, and I was like, at the time it didn't matter.
Yeah.
I look back at it now, I'm thinking that's stupid as hell. I should have been more conscious of what I was doing. I have a family, I'm married, I have small children, but at the time, I was like, fuck it, somebody wanted it, they can come get it.
Yeah.
And he's like, I told him, I said, I've been jumped before, and then I think back on, I'm almost 40 years old. I can't think like that no more. I can't be like the younger generation, not thinking before you do. And
right.
And as you get older, you get wiser, and you want to make better decisions because not only do you have yourself to think about, you got people who love you as well. So.
Right. And that's what's up, man, because it's just people just think a lot of times.
Hey, Sierra, what's up, Sierra?
People just think just a lot of times that you a coward or you afraid, right. But it's just I have a lot to lose.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And who wants to be able to go one day, go into the bathroom or shower and at your own free will, and then the next day you got a guard escorting you to the shower, or you gotta ask a guard, hey, can I use the restroom? Who the hell want to go through that? Not me.
No, absolutely. It's like losing your freedom. I saw a post that said, if you hard and you get mad and you want to fight somebody or kill somebody, sleep in your own bathroom for 24 hours. Can you handle sleeping in a small space like that? If you can't do it for 24 hours, there's no way you can do it for 15, 25 years, you know what I'm saying? So
and they call that rehabilitation, but it's insanity, man, because I don't think anybody can get rehabilitated. That's just, I think, a cliche, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it changes you, because I just was explaining to people, like, the reason why I do my show was I feel like I did a bid in my mind. Because, a lot of times you don't have to be in jail physically, but mentally you can be in a cell, you can be in the prison just with the thoughts and the trauma that you exhibited. Because I lost my brother, you know what I'm saying? My pops, and I don't got no more grandparents, cousins, my aunts and uncle. Man, I was going through it, bro. And I just was trying to tell people about just, you don't realize what you have until it's gone.
Until it's gone, yep.
Because I just be having memories, and those memories is like, because we take a lot for granted and shit a lot of times. I would feel like as just people and human in general, like, and I miss having a brother because I don't have a brother no more. It's just I have a sister. It's all right, but I miss having a brother.
A brother, yeah, y'all can do the same things, and but yeah. So that leads me to my thing for my young generation: think before you do. Think about people who love you. Think about your future. Think about the positions you can put yourself in, and just think. As you get older, you realize that was stupid. At something I did 10 years ago. I mean, don't get me wrong. We look back as kids, we're like, man, we did some stupid shit back then. How did we survive that? But back then, we didn't have social media. Back then, we didn't have a cell phone.
Right.
We had Nintendo, or we had things like that, or we had each other as kids growing up. Hide and go seek. Run around the neighborhood, run on bikes. I just think that our influences growing up were different from how they are now. So.
Yeah, and we wasn't incriminating ourselves like that either.
No, we were definitely not, because there was no phones to do that.
Exactly.
We used to, I remember, playing near the highway or by the train tracks, and back then, we could have severely hurt ourselves back then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But look back at it now, and our kids are like, well, what'd you do when you were young? I'm like, don't worry about what I did when I was young.
Right, don't worry about that.
It sounds crazy, but it's not. But hey, Irene, good to see you. Good to see you.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. So how about you go to the beginning? Like,
all right, so the beginning, I was... So in the beginning, I had my mom who had me when she was really young.
Yeah.
She was my biological mom. She had me, I believe she was like 14, 15.
Oh, damn. So y'all look pretty much like brother and sister.
Just about. I get that. I look like my mom a lot. And then my dad at the time, I believe he was maybe 17, 18. So I was really young when I had them. I'm sorry, when they had me.
Yeah.
And what happened was I think they were too young. They couldn't take care of me. So then my mom's parents adopted me and took me in from there. So the people who I call my sisters are technically my aunts. So I would call them, my sister, or, growing up. So then my parents took me in. I called my mom, my grandma mom. I called my dad. I called my aunts and uncles, brothers and sisters. And I came from their generation of what they call the old school bring up. You know what I mean? I got my ass whooped. I got the belt, or I got slapped for talking back. I came from the generation where you are seen and not heard.
Right.
So that was more my bringing up. We grew up on a street called South Park in the east side of Saginaw.
Yeah.
So right now, if you look in that neighborhood, all those houses are tore down. We were kitty corner from Emerson Elementary, and then we came down the street from, we were on the same side as Central Middle School. And then on the opposite side, there used to be Self-Serve Lumber, which is no longer there.
Yeah.
And then we were on the other side of Genesee, which was where the old school Rib Shack used to be. One of my favorite places to be, by the way. I'm upset they're gone. But
me too.
But I grew up in that area, and then as we grew up, it was around the '90s, so the gangs were really big back then.
Okay.
They were like the Folks and the Mafia Kings, and they were obviously rival gangs in different colors, and the violence was it was a lot back then. So my dad, who was a General Motors retiree, said that we had to move. So we moved to Carlton, and then I had most of my upbringing there in Carlton. So
Okay.
I went to Carlton Elementary, then Carlton Middle, and then after middle school, I went to Arthur Hill. So that's where I met some of the people there, and I was able to kind of like branch out and be myself and learn myself, growing up as well. So, but yeah, that's where it started for me as far as my upbringing. My upbringing was good. It wasn't bad. I mean, I had parents that cared for me. My sisters, who were technically my aunts, they were kind of like my mothers as well. I had one sister who was mean, so she was always whipping my ass. I had another sister that was like a mother, and she took care of me the most. And then my biological mom, she kind of moved on. She grew up and had her family, and I didn't excuse her from being my mom, but
Yeah.
you can tell there was a division there. And with that division, as we get older, we hope to patch those bad things and try to grow from them and forgive and move on with it. But yeah, that was my beginning.
Okay.
Background.
And I wanted to ask you, so when did you find out about your mother? Like, did you always know, or did it come like at a certain age?
That's a good question. So I guess at first my mom, which was my grandma, didn't want me to know that she was my mom. If I'm not mistaken, I could be saying it wrong, but from what I can remember.
Yeah.
And then I was always told, that's your mom, that's your mom. And then it kind of didn't feel that way because during that time she had met someone and then had 2 children. So I was thinking, if I was her son, why ain't I with her?
Yeah.
So I had my own questions growing up. And then as I got older, I started figuring out what it was, who she was, and why things took place the way they did. And I think that's why we have so much of a division. But it's kind of hard because so much time has passed by that we still have a mutual respect for each other. Still got love for it. Like if I seen her and she's in distress, I would not just walk away from her. I would still do my due diligence, not only as a son, but as a person. You know what I mean? It reflects off my character.
That's what's up, man, because we pretty much have a lot of similarities. Like, even though I wasn't adopted or nothing like that, I have a younger brother. Mm-hmm. He's my father's son.
Okay.
And after him and my mom divorced or whatever, he went and had another son. And I didn't knew about it until probably like I was 9.
Okay.
And then his mother passed later that year.
Oh, wow.
And he was 4. But I used to go see him,
mm-hmm.
but he was so young to the point that he didn't know who I was.
Right.
But he carried this photo that his mother gave of me and my older sister or whatever. And we were separated for 17 years.
Oh, wow.
And so I found them on MySpace.
Okay.
Because I had told the story while I was in college to one of my homeboys. He was like, hey, man, you ain't ever found him on MySpace or Facebook or anything? And I was like, damn, you probably own to something. And so I had found them on MySpace, and just imagine somebody who looks just like you, but younger and this and that.
Right.
So it blew me away because I thought he had died because I haven't seen him or heard from him. So I was just ecstatic, and then I was sitting back thinking about, what if he don't accept me and stuff like that. So I had added him.
Time heals everything.
Oh, absolutely.
Time heals everything.
And I didn't do anything wrong, so I was like, yeah, he can't be mad at me. He can be mad at our father because he didn't raise us, but he don't be mad at me.
But sometimes I feel that they could have, trapped unanswered questions inside them that could build a false emotion towards a certain person because of the situation that had nothing to do, or had things out of their control.
Yeah.
And they can build things up, and that's why it's good to talk with them and be like, hey, I thought about you all that time. You know what I mean? wondered how you was or where you were at or how you were doing or what you look like now, or, you know, if you were ever in trouble, what I would do to help you. You think of scenarios not only one way but both ways.
Yeah.
Because you want the best for them in the long run.
Yeah, and it was like when I finally told him who I was, because I just kind of waited for like a week.
Mm-hmm.
But when I finally told him, like, hey, I'm your older brother and stuff, and he was kind of like, you serious and stuff? You ain't scamming me? So I was just kind of like giving him just clues and stuff like that. Like,
right.
Your mother named so-and-so, you used to live at this address.
And they're answering the right questions.
Yeah, and I was just like
Kobe,
tossing
what's
them.
up, Kobe?
And I just like was tossing them.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, dang, like, you must be telling the truth and stuff. Like, yeah, like, you could just look at me and look at you.
Right.
We look just alike.
Look in the eyes, man. The eyes don't lie.
Exactly.
The eyes will never lie.
Exactly. And we it was cool because when we reunited, because it took us 4 years to reunite, to see each other in person.
Okay.
He came and picked me up from work. Man, I cried.
Oh, yeah.
So bad. It was raining as hell. Like,
it was raining.
Raining like a mug.
Man.
But I didn't care, man. You know,
Yeah.
I was like, man, give me a hug and stuff. And he way stronger than me because he like weightlifting and stuff like that. But it was just like, man, I got my little brother back and stuff like that.
Man, when you said you were crying and the rain was coming down, it made me think of the song Temptations, I Wish It Would Rain.
Yeah. It was
that popped in my head, man.
Absolutely, man. And that's how I felt because I was angry at my pops because it was just his decisions that I feel like, you know, you robbed me of watching him grow up and teaching him things. And,
right.
Because my dad was just always thinking about himself. He wasn't really thinking about his children. He was raising other people's kids while we was here, and I just kind of felt neglected. You know what I'm saying? And
that's where the part where to forgive, time heals it. You know what I mean? Because, you know, there was a time with my dad, you know, my biological dad. He would come down from Texas to Michigan, and one time we were fishing on a boat, and I looked at him and I said, you know what? I said, I forgive you. I said all the things that I felt wrong, how wronged I was, or things that there was probably things about his story that I didn't know or didn't understand.
Yeah.
And then being a father and at my age now, and even then, I knew that there could have been some things that were out of his control.
Absolutely.
So I figured I just wanted him to know in his heart that, hey, I forgive you. Whatever happened. You know, we can move on from it. You know, we can have a better relationship. And I figured if things didn't turn out, well, I mean, it's been 30-something years. I was without you for 30 years. If I have to do a 30 more without you, then I'm going to live either way. You know what I mean?
And that's real deep because it took me years to just really come to that conclusion. Because, you know, when you're young, you don't really have the mindset to really go into depth about things.
No.
You know, you just see what's around you and then you adapt to what's going on around you because you got to survive. But I was wondering, like, you know, why I couldn't just have my daddy, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like everybody,
every son needs their dad. You know, and that's why I appreciate stepdads who step up to the plate.
Yeah,
I appreciate uncles, brothers who take the roles as fathers because everybody needs somebody, but especially a bond between a father and a son. It's indescribable.
No, you know, it's sacred, man, and that's why I had stepped up with my nieces and stuff like that.
Yeah,
because I got 2 nieces from my sister. She's the only one out of our mother kids who got kids, but I just wanted to be like a positive role model and stuff, and it just was a blessing just to watch them grow from being a newborn to young ladies now. And they don't, it's gonna be so funny because I be embarrassing the hell out of them every time I see them and stuff. I'm picking up high up in the air. They're like, hey, get away from me. Why you embarrassing me? I'm like, I don't care.
A male figure is important. It's important.
Yeah.
You know, and same thing with my daughters and even my stepdaughter. I don't call her my stepdaughter. I call her my daughter.
Yeah.
And the reason why I do that is because she's mine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You want the best for not only her, but for all your children, but especially
Absolutely.
with the daughters. But, I do that because someone told me they're only your stepchildren when they disrespect you.
Yeah.
They're your children when they love and respect you. And not saying that the respect factor determines who they are to you or vice versa, but when they disrespect you, they become your stepchildren, because then it means they don't care about your authority in the home.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care about the general safety for the family. Like I was telling my daughters, I said, it's my job not only to protect you, but it's my job to make sure that you're warm. It's my job to make sure you feel safe. It's my job to make sure that the family is safe as a whole, because like I said, not only a father and son relationship is important, but the male figure in the home is also important.
Yeah.
A present father also signs as a positive present male in the house.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to mean dominance. It just means that someone who is there, because kids need that love and assurance and protection. It doesn't matter what age they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's important. It's important for sure.
And you ain't lying about that, because I became my uncle at 18.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know how to change diapers or, do the formula.
I learned it young, man. I had my first kid at 18. I learned it young.
Yeah, so it was like I couldn't use that excuse, what I'm saying? But like, oh, I know her diaper needs changing, but I don't know how to do it. Like, I went through like 5 diapers one time because I was just doing it all wrong, breaking the tabs and stuff like that. Yeah. But I just couldn't leave my nieces, what I'm saying,
right.
like shitty or witty, what I'm saying. So I did what I had to do.
You overcome it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's intimidating, being a male, and not only changing a boy is a little different.
Yeah.
But changing a girl is even, because you gotta wipe them a certain way.
Yeah.
Compared to a boy, you got to make sure they're good down there, so they don't have a rash.
Yeah.
It's
things like that.
It's different. Yeah, I remember it, man. I used to be scared to watch. My boys, I had no problem changing them.
Yeah.
They got the same shit I got.
Yeah.
Change you up if you're that bad, your ass is going in the shower.
Yeah.
But with girls, it's a little different. Their parts, their engineering is different. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And it just was one of those things. Like, I really just look back and just like, dang, I'm grateful because I had this experience. Mm-hmm. So when I have my children, it won't be like less stress.
I mean, walk in the park, bro.
Yeah, it'll be easy. You know what I'm saying?
It became a core memory.
Yeah. Yeah. So just the fact that you said that, man, it just really gives me a great deal of respect for you, because it just.
Thank you.
Everybody don't want to do that, and everybody don't feel obligated to do that. But I looked out for a lot of people. That's because good. It's just in my characters, it's in my nature to want to carry the torch. Because people gonna always remember that. You know what I'm saying? They never forget the people that abandoned them.
Correct. And like I tell my children all the time, and I tell anybody I come around, it costs nothing to be nice. Mm-hmm. It costs nothing to be respectful.
Absolutely.
I always tell my kids, don't do things today that you'll regret tomorrow.
Right.
It costs nothing to be a kind person, to be respectful, to say hi to people when you see them, maybe someone's having a bad day, but it costs nothing to be a good person.
Absolutely. Because it's just about karma.
I believe in karma too.
Me too, man.
I believe in karma like a mother.
I don't play that,
Yeah, shit. I be finding money at Walmart and I be turning it in. And I've even found like someone leave like diapers in a cart, and I would turn them back in because I was thinking, what if that was somebody's last $20 for their baby to get diapers? Because I have small children, and then one time I was at Walmart, I saw somebody leave a phone in a wallet, and I looked at it and I'm like, damn, there's a lot of money in this wallet. And I said, and this phone it's a good phone. Yeah. So I grabbed it out of the cart. I took it in the inside, and as I was walking in, this guy goes, "Hey," he's like, "Don't move." First, I was defensive. I'm like, man, who's this? Who the fuck is, Right. And he's like, "Does that say blah 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 on the wallet?" And I looked at it, and I said, "Yep, it sure does." He said, "Is that an iPhone blah blah blah?" And I said, "Yeah, it sure is." He goes, "That's mine." And so I'm like, all right. So I walked over to him and I gave it to him. And as I gave it to him, he grabbed my arm like this. He's like, "Thank you so much." He's like, I just got paid. He's like, that was my rent. It's my kids, my weekend for my kids. I was getting food because they were coming over, and I'm thinking, man, what if that was me? It felt good inside knowing that when you do the right things, it can go to right things with the right path.
Absolutely.
Now, when you say karma, I was thinking, what if I would have lied to him? I just took his last rent money and got drunk with it, or went and partied or went out of town with it. Mm-hmm. And then when you think back, karma can be like, all right, well, you just got this new check or this new blah, blah, blah. Karma can take it away from you. So that's why I believe in karma and doing the right thing, because, man, it comes back full circle.
Oh, hell yeah, 10 times
forward, it comes back full circle. Always does, man.
Yeah, because I remember just helping out, like, particular women, like, I was friends with, mm-hmm. who was going through domestic violence or who was just homeless. I was like, hey, just come over here. You know what I'm saying? You sleep on my couch. You don't have to pay me nothing like that.
Right.
Because I remember them times when I needed somewhere to stay. Mm-hmm. My grandmother's was like a safe haven. Their houses was safe havens. And they didn't have to do that. Even though I was their grandson and I was like a man and stuff like that. And then, when you're a man, nobody cares. No, like that. There ain't no, United Negro College Fund or Feed the Children background music. Mm-mm. They were like, okay, well, I hope you figure it out. But, but I never forgot that, and I just always wanted to just be in a position to return a favor for somebody. Yeah. And even though, like, a lot of times I got crossed or betrayed and stuff like that,
it hurts. Good. You remember it.
Yeah, I hurt. It hurt.
It hurts.
But then, like, when I lost everything, bro, because I had to pretty much throw everything away from my apartment because I had a little incident or whatever. Yeah. But then some strangers at work, they all, like, chipped in, bought me new furniture and stuff like that. So that let me think, like, maybe they did that. It was my reward for helping those people.
For helping somebody else. That's why I say it costs nothing to be nice. Or to be caring or,
For sure, man.
Absolutely.
So where did your passion of music come from?
So I always had a passion for music. So I grew up in a Hispanic home to where we all listened to Mexican music. Right. So my parents they had records, and I would go to their records and play them, and obviously scratching on them. I got my ass whipped for it, but it sounded great. Right. But back then, like I said, my aunts and uncles were older, so they had music like, they were into anything from like Journey to like Motley Crue to Kiss. And then I had some sisters that were into like Michael Jackson 45s. Lionel Richie, I had an integration of what my parents listened to and then what my siblings who were 20 years or between 10 and 20 years older than me. Okay. So I was able to have a range of music at my fingertips. Yeah. And then as I grew up, I obviously had my own style of music. So I listen to all kinds of music. I love music from like jazz to classical music to old school, to electric rap from the 80s, to Luther Vandross, to ABBA, to Garth Brooks, all of it. Kiss, it's just a major influence across the board. And I got into it that way. So there was a friend, I started DJing when I was 13. Okay. So what happened was my sister worked at a gas station. Met a girl there. They became good friends, and her boyfriend was a DJ. Mm-hmm. So his name was Robert Gomez. They called him Little Rob. But Little Rob had a disability. I believe he had cerebral palsy or something like that. So basically, he kind of shook. He walked differently. His speech was kind of impaired, but you can kind of hear it. And I learned from him. So my first gig, I was 13. Mm-hmm. It was in a garage. So I had to play Mexican music. So, like I said, my other influences were different from this kind of music, but I also listened to it from my parents and my sisters. So I guess that first gig, it was like a 3-hour gig, and it felt like 10 minutes because it was new, it was something different, and I loved it. So I that's when it kind of took off for me there. So I started DJing with him a lot. So back then, this was like early 90s, maybe mid 2000s. So he was getting like anywhere from like $300 to $600 for a gig.
Yeah.
So I would go with the gig with him. I would set up the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
I would DJ the gig, and then I would tear down the equipment.
Okay.
So he would make $300. I would only make $30.
Oh, that's cold.
But
you was paying your dues though.
I was paying my dues.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad thing. So what was happening is I was gaining the experience.
Yeah.
So people always hear, you start from the bottom and work your way up.
Yeah.
So that was my bottom.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it as being ripped off. I saw it as learning a hobby or a skill.
Yeah.
And if I loved it, then I was okay with $30. So back then around that time, I was working a paper route.
Yeah.
So Monday through Friday, I used to deliver the papers after school, and then Saturdays, Sundays, especially Sundays, you would deliver the papers early in the morning, like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So back then, I lived in Carleton, so I had like 180 houses I would do it. So I would DJ a gig, get out at 2 o'clock in the morning, sleep for like an hour, 2 hours, and then deliver the papers, then come back.
Okay.
And I started that when I was 13. So that's where I started to build my work ethic on top of doing something I liked. And as the years went by, I started DJing with him more and more. The pay got up there. He got to a point where he didn't want to do it anymore. He used to let me take his equipment and go on my own gigs. And then we ran into a situation one time where I booked a gig and the same night he booked a gig.
Okay.
There was only one set of equipment. So he had to do his gig because that was his equipment. Yeah. So I learned a lesson. I learned to, you have to, if you're going to get into this, you got to be fully invested.
Absolutely.
So I went to Radio Shack and bought my first $50 mixer with some $10 CD players. And I was my first set of equipment for $500. And I got that $500 because I stopped doing the paper route.
Yeah.
So ever since then, I grew to buying more equipment and doing more things. And back then we used CDs.
Yeah.
We didn't have MP3s back then.
Right.
We didn't have a laptop to DJ with. We used CDs and tapes, and sometimes I would pre-mix a CD onto a tape and play the tape at the gig. Or, I also went through like my failures with the equipment. If something broke down, a wire broke, a CD skipped, I kind of went through it, you know what I'm saying? But so as years go by, I started picking up gigs in bars, and I've DJed in some clubs before. Now I go to Vegas almost twice a year just to get the ideas from Vegas and then bring them back home. I've seen people from DJ Mustard to YG to Little John, to DJ 5 to Tesco, every type of DJ out there, and I would bring it home. So it was funny because when I was little, I couldn't comprehend shit.
Right.
Somebody would tell me something, I wouldn't understand it. But me being drunk in Vegas in a nightclub, I can remember half the set and bring it home. So I always laugh at that, looking back at it. But yeah, I started out doing that, and then I started doing it in Legends and bringing it home, and then scratching and having ideas and big into light shows. And now we also had DJs here in town that were also influenced here. Like Little Rob was a big one. Mm-hmm. Jam and Jess is a big one. Rip and Rich, R.I.P. Mm-hmm. Frank Medell, R.I.P. These other DJs that were here were major influences on me. Even people that were in bands that were doing Mexican music, there are now DJs like Frank Rodriguez. He also collided with us and did that thing, and it was nice knowing all these other DJs and showing love. So that's why I see if anybody ever wants to DJ, I had no problem with open arms. I would teach them, you know what I mean, because Absolutely. That's how I was taught. Yeah. And, but yeah, that's how my influence in music came about.
Yeah, so you used to like watch movies like Crush Groove and Juice and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my brother loved Juice, and that made me just fascinated because my brother was a big 90s hip-hop fan.
Oh, yeah.
East Coast, and my mama was West Coast, so it would be hilarious like when they used to like go back and forth and stuff like that with this East Coast, West Coast thing. Yeah. But I was influenced by both of them and my sister, because my sister was mainly like 90s, 2000s, and stuff like that. So
Okay.
I had like a whole bunch of music always around me. Like,
Oh yeah.
and one thing I just really missed, like in the city, having a hip hop and R&B station.
Yep.
That's what I miss about it.
I love it.
And just the fact, like, music will make you forget whatever you was going through.
Absolutely.
Or being bullied.
Absolutely.
Being,
I used to I would get lost in DJing a mix and realize that 3 hours went by.
Yeah.
And I'm just playing. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, damn, I got to go to work tomorrow. And it's 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, damn.
You know, and I'm thinking, I got to, you know, I was tired and I would fight through it because this transition would sound good, or this song with this song sounded good, or oh my God, I just mixed old school with this new school and it sounds great.
Yeah.
And there were times where I would record it and then come back to it. And there were other times where I would not record it and then forget how I did it, and I would try to reenact it. And sometimes you just can't bring it back, you know.
Yeah.
It sounds different when you do it because you're excited.
Oh, absolutely.
When you go back to it, you're kind of like, man, did that sound good? Or would this match better with this?
Oh, man.
It's an art.
Right.
You can grab from anything and make it into one beautiful project, you know.
Oh, no doubt, man.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel as a content creator, because everyone always asks me about like this YouTube stuff or just making videos. I just try to just, you know, pretty much develop my own style, my own formula.
Yeah.
So I'll be explaining to people like everybody's time hit differently. Like you ain't gonna get it like quick, and some people get their fame overnight, but I just be trying to explain to people like it's just about paying the dues. It's all about putting the hours in, because by the time somebody that you looking for or you want to discover you got to make sure you got all your ducks in a row and stuff like that. So it's just one of those
I've done things
lessons.
where all my ducks were not in a row.
Yeah.
And I paid for it.
Yeah.
Because I thought that this would work out the way I thought it would, and then something failed or something didn't happen the way I envisioned it.
Yeah.
And then I had to, but that's growth.
Absolutely.
You know, you'll learn how to adjust as you go, and then you'll learn either not to make this mistake again. But if it does happen, you know how to handle it for the next time and remain professional, remain smooth with it. You know, it's living, man. It's living.
For sure, man. And I'm glad that you really just breaking it down into a different element.
Yeah.
Because people need to hear this and just need to know like things aren't going to be easy.
Nope.
You're going to have bad moments. You're going to have bad times. But as long as you don't give up,
absolutely,
you know what I'm saying? Everything will work out.
Put the work in. And it's with everything you do. I mean, going through college, you know, or starting a new job, or working on a new project in your house, or raising children. It can be in any aspect, in any part of your life. But when you learn to go through, you look back like, hey, man, that wasn't shit, you know. I could do this, you know. And my wife always says it's a blimp on the radar. You look back 5 years, 10 years, it's this small. But during that time, it was the biggest thing in your life.
Absolutely.
And it's natural for it to feel that way. But as you move forward, you'll start to see that things get better, things get brighter, and you just became more knowledgeable.
Yeah. So how about you discuss like the moment, you know, you became a dad and stuff like that, and like was it like a hard transition or you just knew right away?
So like I said, I was young, so I was in high school. And I've seen some of the people that are on here I went to high school with, and it was good to see them shout out, and it was good to see you guys as well on this.
Yeah.
But I was young, you know what I mean? I was, you know, I guess hit puberty, so my face changed and I got skinnier and I started, you know, going girl crazy, you know.
Yeah.
And I met this girl in school, and you know, we kind of hit it off. And then before you know it, I was dumb having sex when I shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
And you know, I ended up getting her pregnant.
Yeah.
And that's when my mom was still around, and she always told me, you know, whatever you do, you take care of that child. This child didn't ask to be here. You brought this child here. And she said, you know, you're 18 now. You're old enough. You're an adult. You know, you need to make your decision and go on from there. So I ended up having the baby with her, ended up staying with her, and then we had a second son, and then we got married, of course, after the second son. And then I had another son, and then I had a daughter with her.
Yeah.
So, and then we had a family and we were constantly moving, but the relationship as we got older started to change. We weren't kids. They always say that people fall in love in the relationship at different times. If one of you are falling out of love, you better hope that the other one's still in love, and vice versa. And we eventually got to a point to where I think I fell out. And it was a great relationship at first, and it started turning bad, and it could have been things that my influences as well. I'm not going to say that she was totally the bad person.
Absolutely.
It takes two to tango.
Yeah.
And we both make mistakes, and some of our friends said that you go where you're happy. So I end up breaking from that relationship and falling in love with my wife now, and having a daughter. So total, I have 5 children.
Okay.
And then with our marriage, we have a total of 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You just taught me something. Because my thing is, I've been struggling with is that I know I'm not a bad guy.
Yeah.
But I'm a workaholic.
Absolutely.
So for me to have a successful relationship or anything, I need my partner to understand I'm a workaholic and this is my legacy. This
Correct.
is my brand. So I don't want her to just think that you're not spending any time with me. And I'm not saying that she gonna be like an assistant or a secretary or anything.
Yeah, I get it.
But I just want her to understand that this is my mission. This is my purpose.
Right.
And
this becomes a part of you.
Yeah.
If she's in love with you, she's in love with everything about you.
Yeah.
And that includes the things that you're passionate about.
Yeah, I was going to ask you for advice, but you pretty much just gave it to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's true, man.
Yeah.
I mean, when you find your person, you find your person. The heart knows what it wants.
Yeah.
When someone asked me, how can you be in love with someone else when you're married to someone else? Well, I mean, the heart don't lie.
Yeah.
You fall out of love, and you may fall in love with someone else.
Yeah.
You can't deny that. Your heart doesn't lie to you.
Yeah.
Everything else can.
Mm-hmm.
And if you follow your heart, that's the first time in my life I've ever, I've heard it all my life. Just listen to your heart, or just make the right choice. I mean, man, people are bullshit me because they can't tell me the answer I'm looking for.
Right.
And I looked back and thought about it. I was like, man, it's because they can't answer it. All they can do is give me advice to hope that I can find the answer within myself. Yeah. And that was following my heart. So the first time ever I followed my heart, and it was probably the best decision I've ever made in my whole entire life.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get into the details with the relationship with the past one.
It's all good, man.
It was real bad.
Yeah.
And you learn from it.
Yeah, you do.
And of course you wish the best for that person.
Yeah.
And of course there is some animosity and some anger towards it because of how things are turning out now with it. But then, like I said, you get to a point to where you just move on from it.
Yeah.
You hope the best for them. You may not love them from a distance, but at least you care for them as a person at a distance.
Absolutely.
And hope they're doing good for themselves. But like I said, with that thing with the divorce and everything, it's unheard of that dads get full physical and legal custody of their children.
Yeah, it is.
And I got it. And it was probably the most exciting but scariest thing in my whole entire life. Because now I have 4 people that are solely my responsibility. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that my current wife now didn't help, because she did. She was there for me and for them through that part of it, and even now. Yeah. But when reality hits, it's a ton of bricks.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because you're responsible for them now. Not only you may have them, but now you're responsible for their health decisions solely. You're responsible for their well-being. You always were responsible for it, but it kicks in now that you're the one. You got to sign these permission slips now. You got to make these decisions now. Mm-hmm. And it's different. And during that time, I had a lot of dads message me, "Hey, bro, how'd you do that? You live in Saginaw, and you got custody of your kids, bro. Who's your attorney? Right. What did you do? How'd you, what'd you do it?" So I don't want to get into that either. Yeah. Because every situation is different. Every divorce is different. Yeah. But, persistence. I can tell you what persistence was a big thing of mine. Mm-hmm. Being truthful, being accurate, and never giving up on the children. Never. I would say that was probably the three biggest things that helped me get to that point. And like I said, it's a blimp on the radar. I look back at it, and at the time, it took my whole entire life. Now, it's kind of like, I have them, it is what it is. Now, 2 of them are adults. So I turned 40 this May, and I was able to get 3 boys graduated in high school before the age of 40.
Oh, man, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
And they say that a kid don't need their fathers, man. Ain't that crazy?
Fathers need to be present.
Exactly.
All the time.
Yeah.
Never give up on your children. Not just your sons, but all your children.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to tell you, like, when I got older, I ended up forgiving my father as well. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't have a relationship because I kind of feel like I'm past that.
Yeah.
But the little 6 years that we was able to bond.
Yeah.
Because I never really, like, threw the past in his face. Right. I never disrespected him. I just saw him as human. So
right.
A lot of times we have this misconception of our parents being superhuman or subhuman or whatever like that.
Yeah.
But they human. You know, they make mistakes. And I was just grateful just to have my mom. My mom, like, even though... Because I think we're very similar, so a lot of times we get into it because we're very similar.
Well, they say that with my mom too, and I think that's why we don't get along. Because they say, man, you just like your mama, man. Mm-hmm. You bump heads because you both are the same.
Yeah.
So I mean, they say opposites attract, but shit, I tell you, but me and her in the same room, and we're drinking, and we could think of the same jokes.
Oh yeah.
And her and I be the only one laughing in the room. And everyone else looking at us like, what the fuck are they laughing about? You know, it's like you can send, unvocal message to each other. You can just look at her, and she knows exactly what you mean.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no matter how old you get, you just get that, like, it's just that spirit. Like, you know, I know that I'm protected because I'm her baby boy and stuff like that. So
you can get away with murder, my dude.
Yeah, so it's just like I always would like just thank her for just raising me, man, because it's not a lot of good parents out here.
There's not. There's some who are just, they think about themselves and not the child. Like I said, these children didn't ask to be here.
No.
They didn't say, they also didn't come with an instruction manual either.
No.
So that's why it's not only are fathers important, but mothers are too.
Absolutely.
And it's not just the father, but, you know, to have both in the same household, it's almost like hitting a lottery.
Yeah.
Because a lot of kids don't have their mom and dad. Some just have just their dad and the stepmom. Some just have just the mom and the stepdad, or just the mom or just the dad by themselves. And deep down inside, you know, even when I was young, you know, I had my parents, I had everything I needed.
Yeah.
You know, financially out, my parents took care of me. I had my own room. I had my siblings. I was in a good neighborhood. I ate every day, had good clothes. I went to school every day, but I still felt like I was missing something. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I felt I was missing my biological parent. Why couldn't they be back together? And that led to them, what the answer was, they were young and dumb. They had kids when they were supposed to. Mm-hmm. And they made the decision to live their lives separately. They figured, hey, he's in good hands. My mom and dad's got him. My sisters are taking care of him. My brother's taking care of him. You know, and even at the time, it may seem like a good decision, but no one asks what the child wants. No one asks what they want. No one wants to know how they feel. They only ask them after it already happens.
Absolutely.
And then not only that, but the parent who has them, or the person who has them, not only has to deal with damage control after that, because no one listened to what they wanted. They only looked at what they needed. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, it's okay to take care of their needs, but sometimes their wants can lead to bad behavior. Yeah. Messing up in school. That's where you hear, you know, these kids just wanted attention. And it can be stressful for a single parent to deal with. Yeah. Even though you want the best for them, sometimes it can bite you in the ass. And
then also just like your wants becomes entitlement. Because you become entitled to certain things.
Right.
And then you as a parent, you like, wait a minute, like you have everything you need.
Yep.
You know, and why you become so entitled, and then you become disrespectful, and then you become just envious and stuff like that. So that's why, like, now that I'm older, because I look at my life now, I'm like, these can't be the same bills my mama paid and stuff like that. Oh my God. And then food so damn expensive.
Man,
it's like getting a kilo of cocaine, I'm telling you, bro. It's crazy.
Going to the grocery, you can't even buy shit out of the Amazon cart anymore.
No.
That shit's so expensive.
Man.
Gas was damn near $4 a few months ago.
Yes.
You know, I mean, everything went up. But back then, we were born in the 80s and the 90s where things were cheaper.
Yeah.
The cost of living was different. They had General Motors that was the big three that were booming. Mm-hmm. Back then, we had the malls open. Yeah. Every store in the mall was filled. We had a water fountain back in the mall back then. Yeah. We go on our shit now, we ain't got nothing.
Right.
We're lucky to see, I mean, it broke my heart to see Sears gone because Sears was everything for decades.
Absolutely.
You know, they sold everything from like, you know, washer and dryers to clothes to appliances to tools. You know, you can't find that in a store anymore. But those times were booming. Now everything is gone.
Oh, man. And then, like, the beauty of it, like, you could raise a family off of $15, $16, $17, $18 an hour back in them days. But now...
Absolutely. And only one parent could work back then.
Yeah.
If the other parent didn't work, it didn't matter.
No.
But now both parents have to work.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not even enough.
No. Because you need multiple streams of income. You need to really be a hustler.
Yep. You have to have OnlyFans and go to work. You have to have OnlyFans and go to work, man. See, that's why some of these people who got OnlyFans, they ain't got to worry about that shit.
No.
No, not at all.
And I hate that. Like, they always say, well, I'm a public figure. How you a public figure? You a hoe. Like,
you a hoe.
What the fuck?
Like, you coming in the video was asking if you don't say nothing to this mic, they'll buy anything you want. But that's from showing your ass on the internet.
I don't respect that. Like,
I don't respect it either, man.
Because it's just, you know,
it's a different generation.
Yeah, because they some horrible salesmen or salespeople, man. Because I had like a few chicks like inbox me or DM me, and they like, hey, would you subscribe to OnlyFans and this and that? And then I'm like, no, I don't do that or whatever like that. And they're like, well, fuck you then, you broke ass, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, wait a minute, like, I can say no.
Man, I can tell you what, the marketing skills were horrible.
Yeah, They're
horrible, man. If they really wanted you, show me some intelligence.
Exactly.
Show me that degree on the wall. Show me that you can take care of, show me that you're not only about your own interest, but mine as well. But you ain't building a relationship finding no girl on OnlyFans.
Oh, hell no.
Because she just wants to build that subscription to make that money every month.
And usually they don't have a plan. Because a lot of times they just want to, you know, stay at these luxurious restaurants, hotels, and eat at these restaurants and buy all this neighboring shit. But they don't really have a plan. They don't have a long-term goal. Yeah. It's
not a home.
No.
You know, it's not something they can say to look back on. You know what I mean? Like I was always told, like I said, I was from the old school generation. They said if you're gonna buy something you can show for. You know, buy some new shoes. Don't buy no candy. You know what I'm saying? You know, buy a new shirt. You know, you can show off a new shirt.
Yeah.
You can't show off something stupid like buying an OnlyFans subscription.
Absolutely. It's just to me, I just kind of feel like people don't really think of like the long term stuff. And I know you saw that episode with Kim K was so worried about her old stuff was getting out with her children and stuff. So
her past came to haunt her. Bro.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah. Like to me, I feel like that's why it's just really important to always like look at possibilities of your past coming back to haunt you. Because I know my past, like. Shit, I tell everybody on my show, like, I was a whole thought out here, but, you know, y'all can probably use my past because now I'm a totally different person.
It's growth.
It's metamorphosis, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I still love the women and stuff like that, of course, but...
You're a man.
But now it's just, I have responsibilities. I have discipline, you know?
That's the thing I said. Don't do things today you regret tomorrow.
Absolutely.
You know, and if... like you mentioned the Kim K thing, her kids looking back on it, you want to put something on the map that your kids can look back at and be proud of.
Yeah.
Like doing this content, DJing.
Yeah.
Saying that my dad went to work every day.
Right.
I didn't see the back of his head because he was walking out the door on us.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the back of his head because he was coming to work, and I know I'm going to see him that same day, 10, 12 hours later.
Yeah.
But even that doesn't mean that you can't be human and make mistakes.
Yeah.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Oh, yeah, everyone have secrets.
Everybody has
Everybody.
secrets.
Yeah.
But, if you learn from them and you grow from it and you don't do them again, then you'll be all right,
Yeah. And I just think that's the beauty of it is just having the ability to repent.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I had to repent a lot. Because I used to drink. Because when I met you that night, that was the first time I had a drink in a long time. But
really,
yes,
wow.
And I was like
I did that shit every weekend.
Man, I was like every day, bro. But it got to the point where like I needed it to cope with things, and I was just like embarrassing myself because I was just like, damn, what the hell happened to me?
So were you drinking to back then? Were you drinking to get rid of the problems, or were you drinking that created problems?
Oh, I was drinking. I would say a little of both.
Okay.
Cause I couldn't sleep because I had PTSD.
Okay.
So I would just wake up in cold sweats, and then a lot of times I would have insomnia, so I couldn't really sleep.
Okay.
Just was paranoid.
So it was affecting everything about you.
Yeah.
So many hours of sleep, I think you start to build
hallucinate and everything.
You start to hallucinate, yeah. So it sounded like a rippling effect, like a domino effect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One thing happened that led to something else, and then that thing happened. And it's almost like snowballing. It gets real small, and then it builds into something crazy. But another thing I was completely saying, I'm sorry if it's annoying anybody out there, but I tell my kids this because, like I said, older generation. I was told to, if you're gonna drink to have fun. Don't drink to take away your problems, because you can build more problems when that happens. You drink to have fun, and that's how people get to fighting and get mad, especially with couples. They get all drunk. They get jealous in the bar. They want to fight the dude. They're mad at the fucking girl over a night that was supposed to be just a night of having fun.
Yeah.
So that's why I say, make good choices. If you're going to go out there, go in an environment to have fun with it. Don't go into an environment for it to build more problems, not only for yourself, but for your relationship with people around you. But it comes with wisdom.
Yeah.
I used to be upset and jealous back then too, because, you go into a bar with your wife or your girlfriend, especially when you work there, knowing that the clientele that's in there, and then, you start to wonder, man, why are they talking to her for so long in the corner? Oh shit, it's because she's a bartender, she works there. Or vice versa. They're like, well, hey, why were these girls surrounded you while you were DJing? Well, babe, they're asking for a request. Oh, but they got to feel on your arm like that? Or they got to be close to you for taking a picture? That's some of the things I dealt with in my first marriage.
Yeah.
And it takes a toll on you mentally.
Yeah.
It does. Because, you're there. The object was to be there to make money.
Yeah.
It was to be there to make money, to take care of your family, or to buy the things that you want. And that end up leading into more problems. So
yeah, and
you gotta be careful.
Oh, I am, man. Like, that's why, I love to do my shows live. So when I do eventually get in a relationship, like, I know my girl will be watching me like a hawk and stuff, watching me like the like the Men in Black people and stuff. Shit. So I already know, you know what I'm saying? But it's just, at the end of the day, it's just all about trust. Building trust. And
if you trust and love your partner, you'll go a long way. A long, long way. And I learned that too with my second relationship. You gotta trust the person you love.
Yeah. You
gotta put your full everything into them while they put your full everything into you. And if it don't work out, then you chalk it off and go to the next.
No doubt, man. And
this is good, man. What you pouring here? What you pouring here?
Mid-American fruit punch.
Man, this shit is good.
Yeah, bro. Shoot, that's my favorite juice, by the way, as well. But yeah, man, I just really enjoyed this, bro. Like, just talking to you, man. Just really kicking back with you.
Absolutely.
Didn't even seem like we've done this for What, it's been almost an hour or so?
And see, when you're having fun, it just flies by, man.
Oh, yeah, bro.
Flies by.
No doubt, man.
It felt natural. It felt like it was supposed to.
Oh, no doubt, man. I would love for you to come back.
Yeah, I'd definitely come back.
Yeah.
We'll come up with some new subject matter.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do some jokes that we see on YouTube or TikTok where they say a joke and one of us can't laugh at it. You know, maybe we can do something like that. Throw a comedy sketch in for the people out there.
Oh, yeah. You want to let people know where to find you?
Yeah, so... Well, obviously, right now, I'm not DJing now, but
Okay.
I will be turning back to Legends Bar on 4142 West Michigan. I'll probably start in the spring, DJ every Friday and Saturday. It's more of like a hip-hop feel. It's more kind of my music. You know, they can also hit me up on my Facebook under Paul Trevino or DJ Paul. Mm-hmm. You know, stop by, you know, give a what's up, or if you want to gig or want to hang out, or, you know, it's whatever. But I'm a family man now, you know. But yeah, that's where you can find me, for sure.
Okay. Well, again, man, I just wanted to say thank
Thank
you.
you. Yes, thanks for having me.
And make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel.
Like and share, of course.
And we out. Peace.
Take care, y'all.
Yep.